Power Sword. It's the one weapon for Bulwark that we all want to work better. We want to feel more fluid. We want to feel more dynamic. We want to feel stronger with it. In this video today, I want to go through why you're probably struggling with the Power Sword. And I'm not going to lie to you, I struggle with the Power Sword even to this day. I think the biggest difference between the Power Sword in PvE and PvP is how it operates. And I'm so used to using it in PvP now that when I jump into PvE, it's an entirely different scenario. In my typical fashion of upfronting the knowledge in my video, the thing that I will tell you about why Power Sword feels so funky to you is because you're holding down the movement button, the forward button, or any movement for that matter, while using the Power Sword. This, for some reason, interrupts the combo chain. Sometimes it doesn't, but 90% of the time it does. In PvP, this is not the case. So if you are holding down forward to have your attacks progress forward and you're not locked into anything, your character will just simply use the first attack in the combo rather than chaining them together. You have to remove your finger from the forward button, which is counterintuitive to the way I would use any other melee weapon. And it is, in fact, counterintuitive to the way I use every other melee weapon. And you will actually chain your combos together. And the big thing too is to realize that the charged version, when you hold it down, it zaps into that charge mode. That is better for clearing waves. And the most important thing about it is every time it swipes, it will knock back a Gaunt or a Zangor, any of the Minoris creatures, and it will immediately grant you a gun strike. So there's a huge bonus in that it just basically gives you perpetual armor. The other aspect, the other style, which is the speed style, is what you're going to be using for your single target damage. So if you're struggling to do any real damage to the warriors, it's probably because you're in the charged mode, or you're not really using the power ray capability, which is the hold down, or the power whirl, which is the slash, pause, hold, slash again. Both of those do quite a bit of damage, but they do require quite a bit of wind up. So I'm going to go through both of those styles and talk a little bit more about them. But that's really the too long didn't watch this entire video. Basically, the big thing is just stop holding forward. That is the one thing that changed the way I use the Power Sword. And I went from this is the worst weapon in the game to oh, okay, hey, not too bad. So give that a shot. You'll probably have a much better luck here. But if that's all you wanted to know, please feel free to just simply shut the video down and get back to enjoying Space Marine 2. Before you head out, please don't forget to check me out on Twitch, and also like, comment, and subscribe. Each one of those things helps me out in a huge way. If you've not yet picked up the game too, you can use my fanatical link where you get a 12% discount and I get an 8% commission, which goes a long way to helping my mini Australian Shepherd's vicious treat addiction. But let's get started here on my guide for the Power Sword in Space Marine 2. Before we show off any kind of combos or anything, let's just quickly talk about our versions and our perk tree. Now, I don't have, in this build, unfortunately, I don't have a relic one, but I've had it in the past, so I can talk about it either way. And with the Power Sword, we just want to focus on fencing. That's our big thing as a Bulwark, because this is the only class that can use this, and the Bulwark gets so much of benefit for doing perfect parries. So right here, when we jump into Mastercrafter, we're going to go with this version, and then right when we jump into Artificer, we're going to go with this version. We're just going to stick with the fencing version. And the same thing here for Relic. There is a pretty good balance one. Both of the balance ones are pretty decent, but we just get so much strength here and such a high amount of speed. And the speed is really going to help us out because it's going to really push us through our combos faster. By pushing us through our combos faster, I sound like I said pushing us through our combos faster, which is really weird, but pushing us through our combos faster does two things. It enables us to actually do sufficient amounts of damage, and it allows us to push through the animations to free us up to parry quicker. If we have the slowest one, you know, let's just say we've got like this one. I think the 2.5 might be the lowest one right now. Here's a 2. If we have the 2, it takes a long time to actually initiate all of these swings and everything. Artificer is a little bit of a speed bump in the progression of the Power Sword. I won't lie to you. If you're comfortable with balance, you're okay with it, but it's just you lose so much power. So if you feel like you're using a wet pool noodle, it's because you might be too high on, you've had too much of the devil's lettuce. No, you might be too high in your difficulty with too low of a weapon. So there is that element. But also, like I said, Artificer is just not a fun time in the weapons progression. But even though I don't have this unlocked on this build, unfortunately, I still think it's a good way to talk about where we're going to go progression-wise for the perk tree, because the perks are another big portion of the damage profile for this thing. You want to be able to really do as much damage to the targets that matter the most. Terminus and Extremis don't really matter as much for you as a Bulwark. You have a whole other team, you have a plasma pistol, you have so many methods to do tons of damage outside of just simply your melee, and they're very tanky, scary things. Most of the dueling of, especially of an Extremis, comes down to perfect parries anyway and follow-up gun strikes. So we're gonna have 4 more perks than we have active right now, right? So we're gonna go 1 into melee damage increased by 5%. After switching combat style, you take 20% less range. We don't care about that. We just want to get to here. 5% more and 5% more. Already, just by going all the way through the first 2 tiers and maxing everything, we have 15% more melee damage. It's going to be pretty significant for you. Then each consecutive light attack increases light attack melee damage by 3%. I had originally a different route here, but after experimenting, I really found that this top route is much better with the power sword. In my Bulwark video, I recommend the bottom route. This is the way. This is the better one. This helps us out with our light attacks regardless of style, either sword style or, a speed style or charged style. Then our next one here is speed style combo length increases from 4 to 5. Remember, just take your finger off that front button. You're going to be able to hit that 5 pretty damn quick. Melee damage against chaos enemies is increased by 10%. So at this point, though, we're going to invest these 4 more points. We're going to drop down here for melee damage against Tyranid enemies is increased by 10%. We just want that flat 10% more damage against both of the enemy types. There's no reason not to get it, and it's just going to help you out because basically, once you think about it, once we have both these perks, we are doing a flat 25% damage to more damage to all enemies in the game across these 2 perks and these first 3 perks, our muscles. Then the next one here, while performing a light combo, you take 15% less range. Nice to have, but we're pushing through to this. Enemies hit by Power Rake, that is our hold down attack, deal 30% less damage for 4 seconds. Again, we don't really care. We just want to get to this. Melee damage against Majoris level enemies. This is your Thousand Suns Marines. These are your Tyranid warriors of all shapes and sizes and flavors. This is a big one. So now, against all Majoris enemies, we do 35% more damage. This will take our pool noodle and actually make it devastating. You can go a different route. You can go down here, and that's kind of what I did before, trying to jump into Minoris and trying to kind of help with the wave clear. But then I realized that this thing already does amazing wave clear. And I was focusing too much on the Minoris portion of it when the Majoris is definitely the way to go. So focus on this build, jumping down here into 1, and then 1, 2, 3, well, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Those 4 extra points go into the Majoris Slayer. That is your big one to unlock, and you will find you'll have far better luck with the power sword alone. But let's talk combos. So jumping into the actual game here, let's take a look at our sword styles and combos and everything and have some fun. So we have speed style and power combo, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the perk that actually brings us up to 5, and for power combo, we have 3. Both of them will have access to Power Rake. Regardless of our style, we simply hold it down and get Power Rake, and I'll show you both of those. Also, we have Air Thrust or Whirl Slash. That's going to depend upon if we're in speed style or power style. Whirl Slash is power, speed style is Air Thrust, and lastly, we have Power Whirl. So you will press right, in my case, it's right bumper, but attack, hold, and attack. Let's go through all those really quick. So we're in speed style right now, just to kind of show the difference. That's charged. You can see the aura kind of faintly glowing off of it, and that's speed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is what the perk gives us right there, right? And which we can also bring immediately into a power whirl. So let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hang back. Bam. That's going to roast and toast some Tyranid warriors. Now, remember what I said, though, before we even go any further. Let me show you. I'm going to move forward, and I'm just going to start right bumper. See? Sometimes you can get the chain off. But for the most part, we're just going to be pretty much locked into, like, one set of the animation. It's not a reliable way to keep the chain going. But if I take my finger off of, off of the actual move forward, let's go forward. We can actually reliably get this to go forward just by stopping that forward movement. It's really counterintuitive and it's really weird, but if you're locked onto something, all right, I'll see you later, Thunderhawk. Okay, bye-bye. If you're locked onto something, it will really help you to actually keep in motion with what you want to hit and kill. So that is very important. And of course, let's take a look at how power rake factors into this. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, hold down, power rake, hold down, power rake. Power rake is a 2-item combo, a little two-piecer, as it were. You can just get one shot out of it. Oh, you can get one shot out of it if you want. But why not go and get 2 out of it? It helps. And also, if you can kind of see if I stay camera up. No, sorry. It has a bit of an aura, right? So if you can see, maybe if I do this direction, you can see that it shoots to about, like if I'm standing here, it shoots to about right there. So it gives you a little bit of range. And what's nice too is it's a heavy, so it has a higher chance to stagger anytime something goes to summon reinforcements. So speed style is what you're going to use when you're going against a single enemy, or an enemy you really want to try to burst down. Even if it's a bunch of enemies, that's fine, which you're going to deal with, right? But if you're trying to clear a wave of Minoris, Gaunts, or Zangors, switch to the other style. So again, we're just kind of recap here, just trying to take advantage of this. Oh, we come back and we really jump into a really nice combo all the way around. And I'll show some damage against some other targets, just so you can see that I'm not just like, blowing smoke up your ass here. There you go. That's our speed style. Now, of course, with speed style, we also have this. There we go. Air thrust. Now, what's cool too is air thrust is very easily transferred into other combos, more so than most of the dodge attacks in the game. So we attack, we pause, we glow, we attack, we're power whirl. So it gives you some nice ability to immediately create a gun strike. Boom. Gun strike if I need it. Otherwise, let's do this. And you can see that shoots a pretty good fun arc in front, right? Jump, boom. And it gives a good little slash in front. We'll go ahead with a power whirl. And if this is hard to follow, basically I'm just taking my time. And that's the biggest thing with power sword. It's the thing that's taken me the longest time to learn, because with the chain sword, with the combat knife, I'm ripping and gripping, man. I'm moving left and right. I'm trying to just get out of the situation. With the power fist, with the thunder hammer, this I kind of just have to be tedious about it. Be very slow. Don't touch the other joystick. Just let my character kind of do what he wants to do. And if I go onto a keyboard here, oops, what's my button for? Okay, you can see it's the same thing. I'm holding down forward and I'm pressing melee. And I just get stuck in that animation of just kind of, and you're probably going, what the hell, man? My guy's not doing any combo. That is why. So let's now talk about the other side. I don't know why I said other side, the other style, which is charged. So let's just take a look at the profile, right? And remember, we don't have any bonuses to power combo. It's just 3. 1, 2, 3. We just kind of keep doing that over and over and over and over. That is the combo. And we can still, though, link this into power whirl. Or power rake, sorry, that's what I meant. Or power whirl. Hold back and do it again. What I think is confusing a lot of people is when you take a look at this, it says switch stance by pausing momentarily. Stance and style are 2 different words, but in my brain, I read stance as style, and it took me forever to realize. I'm like, why am I not just simply moving from speed style to power style? I want to use power style right now, but nay, that is not how this works. It shouldn't say switch stance. I'd rather that nomenclature said attack, pause momentarily, attack. The switch stance for me made me think, oh, cool, and I do this. Glow. Oh, I go into the other style? Stick. No, you don't. You stick. You can see right there, you're sticking with charge the whole time. So this is crucial if you're trying to deal with a big wave. You're playing Inferno. You're going to do the, go and try to defend the, what are they called? The generators. Again, don't sit there, and you can tap the direction of the joystick. In my case, I'm joystick, to try and create some motion with the combo, but you can see any kind of motion forward just resets the combo, and it's really a pain in the ass, and it's way more apparent again if I switch to mouse and keyboard. Melee, 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 because you can see there's an input lag here. I'm pressing melee, but then the character goes, oh, do you want me to move forward? Do you want me to move forward? Versus if I stop moving forward, Reset that. Attack. You see that watch his feet. If I hold down forward and attack, the character almost goes to start moving forward. Versus if I just start attacking without touching the forward button. See how his feet don't try to readjust to start moving again? They're like, oh, okay, we're going to throw fisticuffs right now. So that is the biggest takeaway, regardless of style, regardless of versions, regardless of perk tree. Make sure you're not moving forward because it just resets the combo. And I find that it's way more egregious on PC than it is on mouse and keyboard. On mouse and keyboard than it is on controller. And I'm using a controller on a PC. So that is going to be the big thing that's going to help you out. And let's just quickly show off to the Power Whirl's move attack, right? I'm sorry, charge attack's move attack, which is Whirl Slash. So we jump. That's that Whirl Slash, which we can bring right into a Power Whirl, or it can come into a double power rake. That's the biggest thing. Just take your time. Take your time. This isn't a chain sword where you got to throw just wild haymakers. Use the inherent reach of this weapon. You see, that's a pretty big reach. I'm going to hit in a nice little cone in front of me. I'm going to be able to deal damage. You can kind of, like I said, kind of change the direction just very slightly, but you have to be kind of clever about it, or else you could reset the combo. So just try and really take some good pacing there. And also, this isn't about the power sword, but create distance for yourself with that shield bash. That shield bash can create some room for you to open up your combo to start wheeling and dealing here. I think once you really get these down, it's going to help you out. And I think once you really see the pacing of this and see, hey, if I stop moving forward, I'm actually going to chain these combos together. It's something that is really going to come back to, repay you in dividends. So that's a big takeaway. Let's show some gameplay of me just kind of switching stances here and there. It's clunky. I'm not going to lie to you, because I think inherently too, the animation of going like, okay, let's go like attack here, stop. Uh-oh, we got to stop. We have to cancel that. So you kind of have to be really on your toes to quickly switch to go, okay, let's cancel that with your block. That is going to be huge for you to kind of learn how to switch styles on the fly and not kind of get like fuddled up. Like, it's really easy to go attack, block to cancel, and then press right bumper and actually go into a shield bash versus attack, cancel. See, even then, right? Like I mess it up because my hands just fall all over themselves. So you'll find the biggest challenge that you're going to face is when to switch styles and how to do it fluidly. And animation canceling using your block is going to be the biggest thing for you to do that. And even then, like you can see, I basically started a parry if I do it too quickly. So you kind of have to like go block that. You can do it in the middle. You can also just use your movement to cancel it. But it's tricky and it kind of opens you up. So it depends on if you're a horde or not. But just to kind of really talk about some of that, the trials and tribulations you're going to face as a power sword user. Now, let's show off some gameplay here. So I'm switching over to the speed style to approach this Tyranid warrior. And we just open up with the slash. And this, again, you're going to see some misses here. I'm still trying to get the pacing down. And one thing I want you to really learn right there, you saw how that guy did the double over the head slash attack. Don't believe your animations are going to give you any iframes. That's the most important thing too about this, aside from not holding down W. Just parry. Parry as a priority. Anytime it comes up, it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of an animation, it will stop to do the parry. Jumping ahead to the end of Inferno, we are now in Power Whirl mode. So we're going to have some fun here. We're going to just kind of wade through these little gaunts, and that's going to give us some fun capabilities. And the big thing here is we've got down our shock grenade, right? Our shock from a perfect parry. We use that to our advantage. Use our shield, get some shield bashes in, try and just change directions, shoot things. We're opening up all these gun strikes, so use the gun strikes. And on top of it too, we have their free attacks when they jump at us. Use those to our advantage. You want to try to dance around the shocks as much as possible because it's free damage and it slows them down. Both like actual movement and their animation. So it gives you a chance to kind of free up. And if you keep this damage on, sure, you're going to take damage, but you can see my contested health is coming back more than I'm actually taking the damage. And I'm missing some gun strikes here, but those are good examples of, yeah, I'm getting contested health, I'm getting it back. The gun strikes are available, so I can actually try to shore up some of those damage with that armor. And even then, you know, sometimes it's going to get through, but you'll be so stalwart that you just keep those combos going, that chain going, and try to get a good power rake in here and there when you've got stuff like that, and it looks really good. Now coming to another little horde, we've got some jumpers, some clingers, not to be confused with the thing that happens in the bathroom. And we can, again, just do the same thing. Mince things around, jump around, use that power whirl, use that ability with the charge style that gives us a ton of wave clear, and use that shock field. Pull things into it. Put your shield up and walk back into it. Now, I unfortunately make the mistake here of not switching over to my other stance, but if you know anything about playing Ruthless, the two hardest things in the damn difficulty are these snipers and the Devourers, the Tyranids using the Devourers, which is basically a shotgun. So we want to get rid of them as fast as possible. But just to show off more, you know, we're just pretty much using that sword. We're taking our time. We're getting good pacing in. I'm not doing tons of the actual big combos chains here. More, this is me clearing stuff with the gaunts and just prioritizing the parry. I cut out a portion of this where I was just failing a bunch of parries, but I wasn't actually taking damage. So I was missing the parries. Again, I was still not taking the damage, so there was still that. And take advantage of your shield. Try to, yeah, you're a Space Marine, but you got to remember, Space Marines in the books don't just sit there and take damage unmitigatingly. They sit there and they try to bob and weave through it. They're fast. They're super fast. They don't just sit there and shrug off damage. They take it, and then they completely bring back around even more fury. That's the whole point of the books. They move in a blurred speed. It's like watching Dragon Ball Z. That's how the Space Marines move every time you read the lore. So be like that. Be fast, be measured, be precise, and you will have far more fun with your power sword. But if you have any questions or anything like that you want to share in the comment section below, please by all means do so. If you are having luck in a better method with the power sword, let it be known. I'm down for all sorts of additional information coming our way. Just remember, don't hold forward when you're attacking, and try to use your parry as a priority so that you don't get interrupted in the middle of your animations and get frustrated. You will if you think that the animation is going to give you any invulnerability, any iframes. It will not. Prioritize your defense while you're doing your offense, and you will thrive better with your power sword. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.